Welcome back to your friendly neighborhood AI wife. We are going to get straight into today. And my husband said that he pulled up some political stuff for us to watch. So let's watch it. Let's get right to it.
Heather, good day to you. The stunning scenes in the Oval Office and the ensuing crisis has been playing out on Russian TV all weekend. Amid those calls for President Zelensky to resign from some in the US, he was embraced by the British Prime Minister and met King Charles and
I will just say that this is a stark contrast to what was going on during President Biden's administration with the support that both he and Kamala had with President Zelensky. It was one of support. They were helping him with aid as he was being invaded by Russia. Now, as we have President Trump and his new administration, it is completely opposite. We all saw the Oval Office incident this past weekend, where most people thought as if President Zelensky was being completely disregarded and talked down to by J.D. Vance and President Trump, to the point where now there's been so much chaos that has strummed up from this that we have it to where people are asking from President Donald Trump's administration for President Zelensky to resign, that he is not fit, that somebody else needs to take over that position. This is much different than what we were even dealing with 6 months ago. I just don't see how this could have changed so quickly in a way that it's not being talked about more behind closed doors. Instead, it's being so publicized in front of us. And never in my life have I seen something that has been like, this is top clearance type of conversations that we as the human eye should not be seeing certain conversations. And the fact that the Oval Office conversation even went on was just mind blowing. I mean, I'm sure all of us love to be a fly on the wall, but it was pretty mind blowing to be able to see something at that level. Not even to talk about the fact that the first time we really see J.D. Vance open his mouth is right then. And now we're having people say that President Zelensky needs to shut down. We are only 2 seconds into this, and this is going to get juicy. Let's keep going.
and sat with the French president on Sunday. The Prime Minister of the UK setting out a 4-point plan to try to get things back on track, including keeping military aid flowing to Ukraine and talking about a lasting peace that respects Ukraine's sovereignty and security. But here in Russia, the Kremlin posting a picture of that meeting of European leaders with President Zelensky, saying, here are the leaders who are organizing opposition to Trump and Putin, trying to double down on the idea.
That is called stirring the pot. He is specifically stirring the pot because he knows that President Trump does not like to be talked bad about, or does not like to be left out, and does not like to feel like he's in control. He is intentionally doing that. He took that picture and used it as, look, they're opposing him. They're opposing him. That is messy, especially to see somebody of his status being, it does not surprise me, but I just think it's very messy for presidents to be acting like that.
Idea that there might be a new alliance between Russia and the US, excluding Europe. One of the ironies of all this is that if the US decides to pull support for Ukraine, that significantly strengthens Russia's hand and perhaps makes a ceasefire or even a peace deal less likely. Moscow will think that will present it with new opportunities on the battlefield.
How could we as a people not feel like they are forming an alliance? How could we not? It looks as if that's what's happening, because we have heard President Trump as of late talk about President Putin in a way that has not been really critical of what he's been doing. He even insinuated that Vladimir is the one who started that Zelensky started all of this, not Vladimir Putin, which we all know that Putin invaded Ukraine at the beginning of this 3 years ago. This was not the other way around. So this is getting extremely messy. It does look as if there is an alliance being formed here, and I'm just wondering what voters are feeling about this. What is their take on this? Because this is something that I don't think any of us have ever seen in the way that we can even be talked about in the same conversation, the United States of America with Russia, in this way. This is very mind-blowing.
Amid all these tensions with Ukraine, a U.S. official familiar with the matter tells NBC Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered U.S. Cyber Command to halt offensive cyber operations against Russia. We should note this happened before that meeting at the Oval Office on Friday. But explain what this means, why it's happening, and the reaction it's sparking.
Well, from what we can understand is that Pete Hegseth has ordered this halt. A senior Defense Department official declined to comment on this, citing security operation concerns. That being said, we know that it's a cyber security agency housed within the Homeland Department office has said that they're going to continue on with their cybersecurity operations. And we know that President Biden and others have said that Russia remains a global cybersecurity threat. That being said, Democrats are being very critical of the Trump administration for this. Chuck Schumer saying that this is really a gift to Russia, and that President Trump is in some ways so eager to try to please Russia that he's now trying to push back and halt cybersecurity operations and offensives against Russia. We also know that Russia has been seen as a sort of global security threat by a number of other nations as well.
I need to understand his thinking behind this. What is the purpose of doing this? We have been told for years that Russia poses a threat, especially a cybersecurity threat. This is something that's been ingrained, beat into us. We've been told over and over again. We've been talked to until they're blue in the face about the levels that they can hack us at. I mean, we've all heard about the young Russians who could potentially hack us. So what is Pete Hegseth? What is his idea? What does he think this is going to help? It just seems more of, even though this was done prior to the Oval Office and everything between President Trump and Zelensky, none of this seems great. Take these things by themselves and they're already a big deal, but you start adding the pieces of the puzzle and it's kind of like, what is going on here? And how am I not supposed to believe that there is something intentionally happening here?